السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our salah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our dua, our fasting, our charity, our recitation of the Quran, all of the good deeds that we've been doing in this month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who He frees from the fire of hell. Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah, with another dua for today. It is mentioned by Prophet Ibn Kathir in his tafsir and in Sunan al-Nasa'i and Sunan al-Tirmidhi that among the du'as of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he used to make was this. He used to say, Allahumma tahhir qalbi min al-nifaq wa amali min al-riya wa lisani min al-kadhib wa ayni min al-khiyana fa innaka ta'lamu kha'inata al-a'yun wa ma tukhfi as-sudur. Which means, O Allah, cleanse my heart from hypocrisy and my actions from ostentation and my tongue from lying and my eyes from treachery. For indeed you know the treachery of the eyes and what the heart conceals. So in this dua, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is asking for cleansing, for purification. And it teaches us that when we perform tahara of our body, when we perform ghusl, when we perform wudu, when we cleanse ourselves outwardly, it is meant to remind me of this inward purification. That my actions also need to be purified. That my heart also needs to be purified. If we're just focused on wudu and ghusl, but my actions of these limbs are ignored by me, then I have missed the point and the essence and the spirit of these acts of purification. So here, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam first asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cleanse his heart. Now, of course, he doesn't need to ask for these things. His heart is already cleansed. But he's doing this to teach us to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for these things. Allahumma tahhir qalbi min al-nifaq. Oh Allah, cleanse my heart from hypocrisy. From hypocrisy, which is when I show a face to the people, but inside I'm different. I show a face of a very righteous person, a very pious person, but inside of me I am full of doubts, I am full of weaknesses, I am full of sins. That's nifaq, that's hypocrisy. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us some of the signs of a hypocrite. The Quran also tells us some of the signs of the hypocrite. So the Quran, among the signs that it mentions of a hypocrite is وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسِ. That these are people who, when they get up for salah, they get up lazily. So these are people that pray, but they pray with laziness. يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسِ. They're just showing off to people. And he also says, وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. That these are people that only remember Allah a little bit. So even the munafiqun, they remember Allah. They do dhikr of Allah. But only a little bit. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the qualities of the munafiq, he mentioned a few of them. Mentioned 3 of them in one hadith. He said, he's a person and she's a person who when they speak, they lie. And perhaps that's why the next thing that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a couple of things later, he asks for in this dua is to purify his tongue from lying. So when he speaks, he lies. And when he makes a promise, he breaks it. وَإِذَا وَعَدَ أَخْلَفَ وَإِذَا عَاهَدَ غَدَرَ. When he makes a promise, he betrays the person. He betrays the trust. And when he argues with someone, he becomes vulgar in the argument. So he's a person who lies, a person who breaks his promises, and a person who becomes vulgar when they argue. And part of breaking your promise, brothers and sisters, is not showing up for an appointment that you made with somebody. When you make a promise with someone that I will come and see you at this time, and then you don't show up at that time, you have broken a promise. That's part of this. I still remember, I'll never forget, when I was in high school, there was a brother in the masjid, and I agreed to see him at Maghrib time. I think I was in college. I agreed to see him at Maghrib time. And it just completely left my mind that I had made this appointment with the brother. And those were the days before everybody had cell phones. So that tells you how old I am. So, the brother doesn't have a way to reach me. He's waiting for me at the masjid. He waited all the way until Isha, which was an hour and a half later. I show up for Isha. And when I came for Isha, I saw him. I remembered, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I forgot about our appointment. And the brother just looked at me and he said, you know, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the qualities of the hypocrite are 3. And he reminded me of this hadith. And it just hit my heart right here. And when he saw the look on my face, he said, don't worry, I'm not upset with you. I'm just reminding you. You know. So, but it really stayed with me, subhanAllah. You know, we have this concept of Muslim Standard Time. Muslim Standard Time should be on the dot. That's supposed to be Muslim Standard Time. I tell somebody I'll see you at 8 o'clock. I need to be there at 8 o'clock, not 8:30 or 9. 8 o'clock. When you make a promise that you will see someone at a certain time, you be there at that time. Otherwise, if for whatever reason you're running late, inform the person, I'm sorry, I'm running late, I'll be there at such and such time. You know, when Rashid Riba, rahimahullah ta'ala, the famous scholar from Egypt, when he came to the West for the first time, and then he went back to Egypt, he said, I went to a land, I didn't see Muslims there, but I saw Islam there. And now I'm back in a land where I see Muslims, but I don't see Islam. You know, he's talking about these types of things. That people make their appointments. They keep their appointments. When they give you a word, they fulfill their word. When they go outside, you don't see trash on the streets. When people get in line, they wait for their turn. You know, these are Islamic values. But Muslims have lost these values. But hopefully we Muslims who are in the West, we will keep our Islam and we are Muslims. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is asking for being cleansed from nifaq. Oh Allah, cleanse my heart from hypocrisy and cleanse my actions from ostentation, from riya. Riya is to perform any act of worship with the intent of earning a place in somebody's heart. That's riya. To perform any act of worship with the intent of finding a place in a person's heart. When I perform an act of worship, why am I performing this act of worship? Is it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or is it to please a human being, to to earn praise from a human being. Any act of worship, whether it's salah, whether it's i'tikaf, whether it's praying in the first row, whether it's calling adhan, whether it's reciting Quran, whether it's giving charity, whether it's working in the field of da'wah, whether it's working for the masjid, whether it's working for a relief organization, any act of worship. In all acts of worship, what's the motivation inside of me? Because if the motivation is to earn praise from people, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no need for such an action. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like to share with someone else. Allah is too big and too great to have a partner that He has to share with. Part of my action is for you, Ya Allah, part of my action is really for that person. So much so that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called riya the minor shirk, called it the hidden shirk. But riya, unfortunately, is so easy to get into. Sometimes you struggle to purify your intention at the beginning of the act, but in the middle of the act, the intention changes. Sometimes toward the end of the act, the intention changes. Sometimes after the act, years later, I will feel the need to tell people about a righteous deed that I did in the past, and I will ruin my intention. So riya is very discreet, it's very subtle. The Prophet ﷺ said it's like a black ant walking on a black rock in the blackness of the night. It's very hidden. We have to be careful about this. We have to be constantly checking our intentions and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cleanse our actions from riya. وَعَمَلِي مِنَ الرِّيَا وَلِسَانِي مِنَ الْكَذِبِ. And Ya Allah, please cleanse my tongue from lying. The tongue is used for so many things that Allah doesn't like. The tongue can be used to hurt people, to demean people, to ridicule people, to backbite, to gossip. But in this dua, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically asked to be cleansed from lying, for the tongue to be cleansed from lying. Why? Because that is the biggest of all. That is the most serious of all of those sins of the tongue, lying. That's the root problem. And so he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dua, teaching us also to ask Allah to cleanse our tongue from lying. وَعَيْنِي مِنَ الْخِيَانَةِ. And to cleanse my eyes from treachery. What does that mean? That means whenever I use my eyes to look at something that I'm not supposed to look at, that's khiyanatul ayn. That's the eye committing treachery. Whenever I look at anything that I don't have permission from Allah or permission from the person to look at, that's treachery of the eye. When I look from the corner of my eye, secretly, privately, without anybody noticing, looking at something, that's khiyanatul ayn. And then the Prophet ﷺ quotes this ayah from the Quran, فَإِنَّكَ تَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. For indeed, you know the treachery of the eyes and what the hearts conceal. In other words, you know what the eyes are looking at even when others don't notice it, because the person is doing it so discreetly. Nobody notices, but Allah notices. Allah knows what it is that I'm looking at. And He also knows what's inside the heart. In other words, what I want to do with whoever it is that I'm looking at. So, this is an ayah of the Quran. And so He is mentioning that ayah, reminding Himself of the seriousness of the issue, that Allah knows what's in our hearts. People may not know, but Allah knows what is concealed inside of our hearts. We cannot fool Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a beautiful dua that in these last 10 days of Ramadan, as we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His forgiveness, and we're seeking to improve ourselves and to purify ourselves, that we can make this dua for the purification of these different aspects of our existence. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept. I'll say it slowly, inshallah, and if you want, you can repeat after me. Allahumma tahhir qalbi. Allahumma tahhir qalbi min al-nifaq. وعملي من الرياء ولساني من الكذب وعيني من الخيانة فإنك تعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور. آمين يا رب العالمين. صل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.